Yes, today now I am starting with the new utility software that is called LibreOffice Base. Basically, LibreOffice Base is an extension of what we call it a DBase or a database. We know that using computers without a database or using any application, using any software without database is of no use. So, computer or application of any computer software or application program directly deals with the one or the other form of database. It could be a very simple database as your base says or DBase says or your access in Microsoft Office says, or maybe to the highly secured database which Oracle provides, Oracle database, or your MySQL provides, MariaDB provides, you got SQL Server provides. So these are all the higher end versions of the database. Basically, a database is something which is very important to store your data for a permanent period of time. So you're writing a software to take that database and to do some calculations and to show it to the user and to do some modifications in the database, and then once again throw it to the database to store the modified information in it. So we have a wide variety of the file formats in database. Now, LibreOffice Base is the software which deals with the database, and it supports some format of the file which is of database format, which we call it a DBase format. And we can use this LibreOffice Base to connect external relation databases such as MySQL or Oracle. So whatever database you create in the LibreOffice Base can be accessed by using MySQL database and Oracle database. These are called RDBMS, Relational Database Management Software Systems. Okay. Now, the following database types are read-only in the database base, LibreOffice Base. From within the LibreOffice Base, it is not possible to change the database structure or to edit or to insert and delete database records for the database types. Like we have a spreadsheet format, text files, address book data. These are all in the read-only format type. Right? Now, how to use a database in LibreOffice? We can create a new database, or we can use an existing database. Basically, we require a database to work with. So, the database wizard helps us to create a new database and to register a new database within that. So, it's possible to create a database and to register a new database within LibreOffice. Now, you have certain queries, you can get some reports, you can design some forms which are connected to the database for actions, for various activities. So we will be dealing with the three programs in the coming videos, which explains you what do you mean by query, how to run the query, how to design the query, how to develop a table, and how to insert the records in the table, what are the various formats we can have in the table. So all these things we shall discuss one after another. So now, if you have already the database, you can open those databases which are existing, which are already there. You have to store the database in your logical folder. So to view the database, you open the database file so that you can choose view, so that data source, choose view data source to view the registered databases. Okay, so now I will try. I'll go to LibreOffice database. My LibreOffice database is open. I can open an existing database. So if I go to click here, I have only one database which is open, or I can go here. I can search my databases. Right? I can search my databases wherever I have typed here. Right? But as of now, I have only one database, that is student database. I can open it. This is a database view. So as it is mentioned, file open, to open a database, file open, that will open another database. Suppose if you have one more database, I can open that database using file open database. Or if you want to view, I can say choose view data source, right? So I can choose view the data source. So I can see the tables, queries, forms, reports and all, which are nothing but which are mentioned over here. Tables, queries, forms, reports, all these things are seen over here, right? So which I can view them. Now, what are the uses of the database, LibreOffice Base? The uses of LibreOffice Base here extend to search the data, sort the data according to your sorting criteria. You can calculate some information, you can generate some report, and even you can share the information also. Basically, you're Googling some information. What do you mean by actually Googling information? You type your requirements. That searches a big, it's an ocean of database. And from that ocean of database, it will pick up what is your search requirement, then it will remove it and it will share that information with you. So that's why you can use the database. Okay, our databases also contain code to perform some mathematical calculations, some statistical calculations on the data to support queries which are submitted by the users. Now, database applications provide security by restricting access to the data. Now, it's possible that there are certain data in the database which you don't want to, give it to public. Restricted entry is required. Or if few people only need to open the database. In such cases, you can put passwords for the databases. You can restrict that for the users, and they have to type the username as well as a password to access the database for their applications. Now, various applications wherein you can use a database. Accounting applications. You've got different accounting applications which use financial data and assets, liabilities, inventory, transactions, different customers, purchases, supplies. So these are all the accounting related applications which definitely require a database. All those things which are getting stored in the database. For example, tomorrow you buy some informations. You need the details. What time you bought the information, what time you bought the items, from which vendor you bought the items, what is the price of those items which you purchased, what is the mode of payment, did you make the complete payment or partial payment, and if the partial payment, what is the outstanding balance. So these are all the informations which you should have and which should be stored, because maybe after say a few months you will not be knowing what is a balance payment which is to be given to the customer or which is going to be the purchaser. Then you will be under confusion, but your database will help you. The moment you go there, open the database information, whatever you type, it will give you which day you purchased, what are the items you have purchased, what are the amount to be paid, how much you have paid, what is the balance to be paid. Yes, do you want to make a balance payment so that payment will be updated. So like this, all these accounts related applications definitely backend the database will be supporting. Always remember, database is supporting from the backend, not in the front end, because front end people may say directly connected to the database and direct updation and retrieval of the data from the database. It's very difficult. So for that we don't want the front end, the people directly to go and touch the database. But for you people, you should know how to directly access the data from the database, how to write queries, how to update the informations, how to modify the informations. All those things you should know. One is what is called account applications, another is CRM, customer relationship management. It's another very good example of the database, right? You should have an information stored in your database related to marketing, related to sales and support relationships between business and its customer. So normally I would like to know what is the sales of my particular product for February. Who is going to give me the data? My database is going to give me the data. Or I want to know what is my marketing strategy. So where do I get? I should refer to the database. Then what are the support which I have given to the customers? Who are the customers who got connected to me? What are the queries which the customers got the solution from my company? All these things are stored in the database. Maybe, see, in my case, my marketing representatives might have already discussed with the customer. I am the owner of the company. I need to know what are the customer queries which are answered by my marketing expert. Whether the customers are so happy with that. Probably you might be knowing when you make a telephone conversation with some customer care services, you will get a telephone message stating that this call is getting recorded for the betterment of the customer service, and please see to it that you are satisfied with the customer relationship manager. So the voice also is getting stored in the database. That's the reason why we require database. Now coming to web applications, Amazon, then Flipkart. So most of the web-based online business uses the CRM database applications, web-related CRM applications, wherein directly the user is connected to the database by means of some forms, and then he will be working with those forms, and then he'll be booking some items, he'll be purchasing some items. Those informations are getting stored in the database. So for a web application also you require. So you require for accounting applications, CRM applications, as well as web applications. Now, how do you create a new database? To create a new database, go to File, New. Here, I have already opened a database. So you can create a new database here. Create a new database. Okay, next it asks. Okay, finish. Then it will tell, where do you want to create a database? Show the data, show the position. Yes. So show the position where you want to create a new database. So then you can store that database in that place. Okay, I want to store the database in a folder called, let us say, Sridhar. In the study material, it's in the first BCA. I will say, or I will create one folder. It's all very flexible. So here I'll create a new folder called first BCA DB database. Okay, so I will I'll create it within this. I'll say name of the students. Okay, BCA1 is the name of the database. I can store the database, new database with a name called BCA1. Now BCA1 database is open now. So this is how I can create a new database. Okay, now this is how I can create a new database. So this will open the database wizard. So this is what is called database wizard. This is a database wizard. Of which database? Student.odb. This is the name of the database. Student.odb is the name of the database. Now, this is what is called a database wizard, wherein I can create tables, I can write queries, I can design some forms to fill the information to the queries, and I can get some reports. So basically, these are the various information which are connected to the database, as well as the various information related to the database. Now, always a database must contain several tables. What is a table? Table is one which has records, and each record has various fields. Now, a table consists of rows and columns. A row for a table is considered to be a record, and column for a table is considered to be a field. I will give an example. To prove this, I'll go to your exercise only to prove my discussion. See, now in this case, it's written, create a student table with the following details. Student number as a primary key. Now you got a new terminology called a primary key, right? What is it? I will explain. Student number, one field. Name, another field. Address, one more field. Class, one more field. Marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. These are the various fields. Find the total and average. These are also fields which you are doing it by means of some query, right? Then execute the following queries. You have to execute the 3 queries. List the students who are belonging to first BCA. Get the students whose records, whose marks average is more than 50. And get the students whose total is in between 200 to 275. These are all called queries. These are all some commands. These are all some questions which we are giving, some work which we are giving into the table of a database. Now, these are all fields: student number, name, address. Suppose if I give example 101, Akash, Mangaluru, first BCA, marks 1 80, marks 2 85, marks 3 90. I will calculate the total of 3 marks and I will calculate the average. And if I complete all these together, it is called one record. Okay, it is called one record. Coming to primary key. What do you mean by a primary key? Every table can have one key which is called a primary key. One item called a primary key means it's a unique number which never repeats anywhere. If I don't give student number as a primary key, then 101 I can repeat it any number of times, anywhere. But the moment I create a student number as a primary key, then the student number 101 will be only one record. There will not be multiple records. So I shall try this. I will do that. Okay. I will do that. So I will go to tables. I open the student database. I'll go to tables. Now I will create the table. I repeat it. I'll go to tables. I'll create the table. So what are the fields I need to give to create a table? Here it's mentioned. Create a table with the student number. Okay, I'll do that. I'll say student number, std underscore number. Normally, what will be the type of the student number? It will be integer. Student number will be some number, integer. So I will select the integer. Please remember, every field which I do, I need to mention the type of that field. What is the type of that field? And one more is mentioned here. It has a primary key. So I need to mention this as a primary key. How do I mention? I click here, I right click here, I will get a message as primary key. Now student number became the primary key. Okay, what is my next information? What is my next information? I need to put name of the student. Okay, I'll put name. Fine. Name normally contains what? Characters, right? So I can put varchar. Varchar is actually a type of the field wherein you can put numbers also as well as characters also. That means Abhijit, Asha, Arun, Arun 1, Arun 2, etc. So varchar means it is a mixture of alphanumeric characters. Okay, that's the name. Coming to next field. What is the next field? Address. Okay, address. Once again, varchar. Next, class. Class is also varchar because now we say BCA1, BCA2, BCA3. So it's an alphanumeric, contains alphabet as well as numeric also. So there also I can create the alphanumeric. So then marks in 3 subjects, M1, M2, M3. Normally marks will be in integer format, right? So I'll write M1 of type integer, then M2 of type default always will be varchar. Okay, then M3 is of type integer. So these are the contents of the database. Now I have to find the total and average. These are the queries which I need to work out. These are the queries which I need to work out. So I have created a table. So I will say that. I will say the table with the say student std underscore info. Student information. Where is this stored? std info is a table which is stored within the database called student.odb. Under the database called student.odb, the table called std info is a table which is stored. That's the reason. It is the complete information about the table. student.odb colon std info means table with the std underscore info is stored within a database called student.odb. So that is what we have seen over here. So now we have created a table. Now I want to see the table in the design view. Actually, this is what is called a design view. Table in the design view. If I don't want to see the table, student info, I can see the table in the design view, or I can see in the query view. This is what is called query view. So tables, student info, add. After adding, what I want? Fields. I'll create a field. What is the field? Student number, one field. Student name, another field. Student address, one more field. Then student class, one more field. Student marks in M1, one more field. Student marks in M2, one more field. Student marks 3 in one more field. So I'll save it, and I'll save it as a query 1. Okay. So I need to so this is how to run the query. I have already written one query, right? The query 1 which I have already written. So I can run the query. Okay, for now coming to student number 101. I write the name of the student. Okay, Ashok. Address, say Mangaluru. Class, say first BCA. Marks in subject 1, 55, 66, 77. So I'll go to next 102. Say Asha. Okay, say Kasaragod. Say second BCA. Marks M1. So 77, 88, 99. So 103. Okay, Murali. Then let us say he is from Mandya. So his first BCA. So 88, 77, 66. I got 3 records. I think you may have to create 5 records. Okay, 104. Minimum 10 records are required. Malati, Mangaluru. Say first BCA. 77, 44, 55. 105. Say Ganesh. Say Udupi. Say second BCA. 56, 77, 46. 106. Kripa. Say Mangalore. Third BCA. Say 56. Say 76, 87. Okay, so I have created this and I will save the current record. My current record is saved. Now here I want to get the total. I have to find the total. Now we have already created a table, student table with the details, student number, name of the student, address, class, the marks in 3 subjects. Let's see how the table looks like. Table, we have given the name of the table as student info, and there are 6 informations. See, I mentioned the importance of primary key. I'll type 101. It's already typed, right? So I'll type, let us say, Ashok 1, let us say Udupi, right? So 101 Ashok 1 Udupi, let us say first BCA 44 55 66. When I go to the next line, it doesn't permit me because I have violated the rules of primary key. That is what is the meaning of a primary key. That is what is the meaning of primary key. I cannot give 101 here because 101 is already come. It should be unique. So here, if I want, I have to use 107. Say Ashpak. Some other name I will give. Now this is accepted. Now this is accepted. So now my table is there. So my table, if I want to see, yeah, my table is there. Now what to do now? I have created a table in a database. I created a table in a database. So here we have created the table. So this is an example how we have created a table. Now every table has a field, right? Field which has alias name, right? Then we can use some functions like average. We'll give the average function, right? So now queries. Now coming to the queries. Now what do you mean by query? Query is some command which we are giving it to the database to extract some filtered information. Okay, to create a query, we need to click on the queries of an icon. So this is what is queries. Here I can create a query, I can run a query, I can save the query, right? So these are all I can do on this particular table. Queries on this particular table. Okay, this is a query. Okay, so create a query, click the queries icon and then create a query in a design view. Now I can create a query. So the lower pane of the design view is where you define the query. So where actually we design, I will design the query. Okay, when I design the query, I should design the query on which table you need to mention, right? To which table I need to design the query. Or am I writing a query for a table, or am I writing a query for the query itself? So there are 2 occasions. Now I don't want you to confuse. Now I am creating a query on a table. What is a table? Student info table. I will create a query on this table. Okay, I will see the content of the table. Okay, so now I will select the fields. What are the fields? Student number, student name, student address, student class, marks in first subject, marks in second subject, marks in third subject. Okay, I'll run this query. So what table I have done, that is seen over here by executing a query. Now this is what is called I have executed the query. Okay. Now this is how we can design a query in the query view. Now how to filter the data? You enter the field name. For example, see this is what is called a field name which I want to enter. So I may require, see in another case, see I have, this is a field wherein I can filter the data. See, I got all this information, right, in this case. Okay, I will create another query, design a query on a table, then I will filter the student number, then student name, then I'll get student class. That's all. That's all. I can get student class. That's all. So I will execute the query. Got it? So here I am filtering the information. See, the previous case I got all the informations. For example, student number, student name, then address, then class, then marks M1, M2, M3. So I will run the query. I got the entire table. So now this is what is called a field wherein I can filter the information according to my requirement. I will filter the data. Okay, I will filter the data according to my requirement. Any of the fields I can remove it, and any of the fields I can add it. This is how I can enter. Now coming to alias. Now sometimes I would like to mention alias. For example, in the same table, I want to calculate the total. So here I will calculate total. How do I calculate? But total is not there. But how do I calculate? M1 plus M2 plus M3 is a total. Okay, M1 plus M2 plus M3 is a total. So I can run the query. But here I am getting M1 plus M2 plus M3 as a message. But actually what is it? Right? What is it? It is a total. It is a total. But it comes as M1 plus M2 plus M3. But I don't want that. But what I want is, I want it to be mentioned as total, which is what is called alias. Now, see. Instead of getting the field name coming over there, it comes with the alias name. Okay, it comes with the alias name. Alias name. So sometimes I may use some functions also. I can use some functions also. Average. I want to calculate the average. So which I can use some functions also for average. Okay, I will do that. How do I do that? Right, here I will call alias called average. Okay, I'll take it in a different query. I'll do it in a different query. So I observe a total. I will calculate a total. So which I will save this as a new query, which I call it total. One query is created. Now I will go to another query. So there is one more query. Total is there. Now I will create a query on the total. Because how do I measure the average? Total by 3. So for which I require the table with the query also. So here also once again I create everything. Student name, address, class, marks M1, marks M2, M2, M3. Now here I can run a function. What is a function? Here it is mentioning only the count only, but there are some functions which are possible. Here what I do is I take total divided by 3, which I call it average. Average. I run the query. I got total and average. Total and average. So I have run now 2 queries. What are the 2 queries? One is total and another one is average. One is total and second one is average. Now, 2 queries are there related to the table, total as well as average. So I can run some functions. AVG is there, count will ask the count. Maximum will give the maximum field, sum will give the sum field, minimum will give the minimum of the lowest value available in that field. Then group by. So group by is another query which runs as SQL command, structure query command. Now there are different operators. Equal operator will equate, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, which we will look into some queries, right? Which will look into some queries. We have that queries to be done or developed. So here, coming to date element which I shall see in next class. I will look into the operator and their meaning. Okay, now to do so, what I have done is the practical. I have created a student. This is a practical exercise. Created a student with the name, student number, name, address, class, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, total and average found out. Now I need to list all the records belonging to first BCA class. Now what I do is I create another query on queries I can create it on a table also, wherein I select all the fields, student number, name, address, class, marks in first subject, marks in second subject, marks in third subject. Or okay, I will create, if I want all the informations, I'll create a new one on queries, average query, because average query requires all the information to be included. So I'll call the number, name, address, class, M1, M2, M3, total, average. Okay, what is asked here? I'll run the query. See, when I run the query, everything comes. What we have seen in average, everything comes. But now, here, I need the information of the records who are belonging to class first BCA. Okay, I'll see which one belongs to class here, right? This is a field name called class. What I do is I put a condition here under criterion. First class, under class criterion, I will say the condition that first BCA. The meaning of this is the entire table will be displayed with the class equal to first BCA. Whereas if I mention this as say second BCA, I run the query second BCA. So first BCA query will run first BCA. That means, see, where should I put the criteria? Under the field called class. I cannot write the first BCA over here. I cannot write the first BCA over here because it is marks, second marks, M2, M3. Where is it actually? It belongs to the class. So under the class, I need to put first BCA. The query has to be put in first BCA. So then I will get the query as first BCA. This query I will see as first BCA. Query as first BCA. Then what is the next one? Extract all the records where average is more than 50. Okay, I will go to second. One more query. The query is on average, right? Wherein I will extract. I'll take all the names to be displayed. Address, class, M1, M2, M3, total. See, here also you can filter. If you don't want all these fields, you can have anything which is of your choice. Anything is of your choice you can have. Now, what is the question asked here? Extract all the records where average is more than 50. Okay, search for the average. Average, no? Here, put the criterion here that display all having more than 50. Run the criteria. Can you see anything which is less than 50? No. You can't see anything which is less than 50. So I'll save it. I'll show that. I'll say this average. I'll call this query as average. I'm sorry. Average more than 50. Right? Okay, I'll go to the table now. I'll go to the table. I'll go to the table. I'll add one more. 108. Yeah. There is one already. There is one already. One information which I need not. Okay. One more information I'll put. Say Usha from say Manipal. Who belongs to first BCA has say 33, 44, 33. Record is saved. Now Ganesh and Usha should not appear. I'll go to the query. Average greater than 50 I have. When I run the query, do you get Ganesh and Usha? This Ganesh is there who's got 60%. There is one more Ganesh from, let us say, table. I'll see the table. There are two Ganesha in this. Ganesha 46%. Yeah, sorry. Ganesh is there, but Usha is not there because her average is less than. Let's see that also. Query, I will see average query. So who is less than 50 here? Only one. Usha is the only one who is having less than 50. So her name should not come. So I will average less than 50. Usha doesn't come. So query is satisfied here, right? Query is satisfied. So extract all the records where average is more than 50. Now extract all the records where total is between 200 to 275. That means we need to go to one more query, create one more query on the average itself. On average itself, get the field. These are all your option. You can select any number of fields. So here I will select address, class, M1, M2, M3, total, average. Now what is it asked? What the query is asked here? The query asked here is extract all the records where total is in between 200 to 275. That's all. So average here, I will go to the criterion which is between space 200 and 275. Right? So query is written. Average between 200 and 275. That's a query. Okay. So now I will run that query. So I will run that query. I have an error between 200 to 275. Let me check what is the error in this. So now, as the last query, when it's considered with the last query, I will create a query for the queries, average query. Will add. So you may ask me a question, why you are creating on a query? Because query contains even total as well as average also. If I go to the table, basic table does not contain any total as well as average. So that's the reason I am going for queries. Number, name, address, a class, M1, M2, M3, total, average. Okay, now here my criterion for the total is total must be between 200 and 275. So now I will run the query. I'm getting only those informations where the total is between 200 to 275. Less than 200 also doesn't come, more than 275 also doesn't come. So now query is created. I'll name the query as between so probably my first exercise is over. Okay, so I'll say this first exercise is over, wherein I've used different operators here. Okay, so I've used different operators, date and time are there, the way how to use it.